Welcome all to Off the Cuff, and I'm here at the tech hub of Silicon Valley, Cupertino City, a city pioneering the tech revolution around the world. But today I will take you down the memory lane, and I'm here at the Cupertino Museum with some of the most beautiful and dedicated members of Cupertino Historical Society and Museum, who will tell us about the origin of the city and how they're preserving the past and documenting the future of Cupertino, California. A very warm welcome, Gail and Sharon Blaine, to Off the Cuff.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
My delight. So, we had such a lovely chat just before the interview. I wish we could, have more time talking about history. It's very hard to condense history, as you know. Mm-hmm. But can you tell me briefly about the history of Cupertino? How did the name come about? When was it formed?
Okay. Yeah. Well, the area here was first settled, of course, by many indigenous people.
Yes.
Many. And then up in the northern part of California, the Russians settled up. And the Spanish, who were in the south, in Mexico and lower California, were very concerned. And so they decided that they wanted to develop this land. They wanted to bring people to this area. They didn't want the Russians or anybody else to come and take land.
Okay.
And so they sent a gentleman by the name of Dianza and a group of people with him to come and find an overland route to this area. They knew how to get here or to San Francisco Bay by ship, by boat. But they didn't know how to come by land. And so he was sent. And there was a priest with him by the name of
Petrus Font, or Pedro
Font. And Father Font was the diarist, and he wrote down everything that happened on the trip. And his patron saint was Saint Joseph of Cupertino, Italy.
Oh, that's
okay. See the tie-in. Here we go. And so, as they came through this area, he named things after his patron saint. There was Cupertino Creek. Okay. So later on, when someone saw that name, they did as Americans did, and they kind of changed the pronunciation to Cupertino. But our sister city in Italy is Cupertino, Italy.
okay.
And they know very much about us, and we have visited there, and they have visited here.
Wonderful.
Yes. So that's where the name came from. You want us to talk
And
about
which year?
that was in 1776, I believe.
Wow.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
And so then, when he was looking for San Francisco Bay, Dianza and his group, he had brought some families. He dropped them off in Monterey. There was a small settlement in Monterey. And when he got up here, he went up into the hills and up what's now Cristo Rey, the street. And as soon as he got up to those hills, he looked out and he saw the bay. And he knew he was in the right place. And then from there, he continued on up to, and that hill is called the Dianza Knoll, because that's where he saw the bay.
Okay, and I know, there's so much to talk about the history. And listeners, you can go to cupertinomuseum.org, and this is a wonderful website. And it has so many pictures from the past, and now they also have digital stories where people can use their own experiences here or talk about their lives. So I'm so glad that they are maintaining a record of the city. And now we are sitting in this lovely museum here. Tell me a little bit about the museum, Gail, and what it offers, like exhibits, collections, what are
Well,
the
the
research?
museum was started in 1990
Okay.
by old timers who had been born and raised here, went to school here, and they wanted to preserve the history of Cupertino. So they started the Historical Society in the 1960s.
Okay.
And then as Cupertino grew, then talk started, well, where can we have a museum? So then they worked with the city and we got this room for our museum.
Yes.
And so we've been here since 1990. We do
Wow.
about 4 exhibits a year,
Nice.
3 different ones, and then the holiday exhibit in December, which is really popular because we have a Christmas tree and we have other all kinds of decorations, and we have a train that goes around the tree and makes lots of noise, and the kids love it. And so right now we have a bee exhibit, how honeybees came to Santa Clara Valley, which is really interesting.
Yeah, I read on that. Very interesting story, I have to say.
Yeah.
And there's something very special coming next year
Yes,
to
that's
commemorate 200 50
250th
years.
anniversary of the De Anza expedition that came up in 1776.
Wow.
And in 1976 was the 200th anniversary, and Sharon and I were both involved in that. And it was a really, really big deal, especially at De Anza College, and every county that the De Anza expedition came through was responsible for their own reenactors and their own programs, and it was really, really a big deal. So we're hoping to keep that, alive, and so we're having, a big display.
So wonderful.
Yeah, that will
Yeah,
be
I
really,
love
really
this.
nice.
Yeah, even the present one. And I'll urge everybody to check out their holiday exhibit also, which opens around December 4th, where the tree lighting happens.
The tree lighting is actually Friday, December the 5th.
5th, okay.
But we'll be putting the finishing touches on the holiday exhibit on Thursday, December 4th.
Very
And then on Saturday, December the 6th is the breakfast with Santa
Oh, nice.
in the community room. So people have to reserve and sign up ahead of time, and that's always a really, really fun thing. And they have crafts for the kids.
So nice. So
Yeah, that's
highly
fun.
urge people to come to Quinlan Center, Cupertino around that time and enjoy the holiday spirit. And we were talking earlier and you were talking about your family. Just briefly, can you tell both of you when did you come to Cupertino and when did your ancestors or family?
Well, I'll let Gail start
I know.
because her family came first.
Okay, on my mother's side of the family, it is English and Italian. And so they basically both got here in the 1870s, and there really wasn't a whole lot. They were raising wheat for some reason, and wheat was not the best thing to raise here. It
Yeah.
wasn't the right climate. So anyway, it evolved into farming and ranching, and the Italians went up to the Montebello area and started wineries,
Oh, nice.
and the English and Scotch and Irish stayed down here and
Raised
made
wheat.
farms and everything.
Wow.
So it was a progression. There were ship captains that would sail into San Francisco Bay, and while their ships were being repaired and refitted, they would hire a horse and buggy and come south to Santa Clara Valley and buy property. So we had a lot of ship captains that lived down
So
here.
because of the weather, you were saying warmer.
Oh yeah, so
weather.
So later, much later, in the 1900s, people came down from San Francisco and they built summer homes down here, and that turned into Monte Vista. But that's a whole different story.
Yes,
I
I
lived
know.
in Monte Vista. I'm very partial to Monte Vista.
And
Okay,
what about you, Sharon?
what happened next was that a lot of people came up here to go to college. They were at Stanford and Berkeley and what have you, and they started new companies, the electronics industry, and people started coming to work in Silicon Valley, what became Silicon Valley, and that's what brought my husband and I here. He took a job with IBM, and we came up, and one of the reasons why we settled in Cupertino was because of the schools.
Yes.
They had a wonderful reputation for the schools, and so having children, this is what you looked for. And we bought our home in Cupertino over 50 years ago. And, and it was, you know, it was a great place to live, and I'm still here in Cupertino.
Nice, nice, wonderful. Yeah, so you can say 1870s to 1960s, and then I came here around 1990, close, city close by, Sunnyvale, and I'm still there. So one more thing that's coming to my mind about the museum is, how do you guys get resources for this? You know, you have some amazing exhibits here. So do the people come forward that we have something like this you can use for the museum? So how do you collect these exhibits?
The people that lived here a long time ago donated many things.
Okay.
And we have a tremendous amount of family belongings and things in storage. Unfortunately, we don't have a lot of room to display bigger pieces, which is really frustrating, but we do our best. And so, and we also, you know, look for exhibits that tie in with local history.
Yes.
And that's how we got the bee exhibit. And then before the bee exhibit, we had the Fremont Older exhibit.
Yes.
And Fremont Older, a lot of people don't know that he was a person. His
Yes.
name was Fremont Older. And they know about the park. And
They know about the reserve.
yeah,
and
right.
Yes.
But he was one of the foremost newspaper editors in
San Francisco.
San Francisco, and had an incredible history. And so we did that exhibit.
And he lived just down here.
Yeah, he
Wow.
was right there off of Prospect Road. And then before that exhibit, we had a wonderful one on a man named Painless Parker. And Painless Parker was the most notorious dentist in the United States. And he lived on Prospect Road, right down the road from Fremont Older.
Okay.
They were
And,
friends. They were friends.
They were friends, yeah.
Okay. Painless Parker.
Painless
what a-
Parker,
yeah,
yes. He
special
was an
name.
amazing dentist.
I am having so much fun talking to both of you. Thank you for, you know, taking me and my listeners back to the memory lane. And many of us can't associate ourselves that, you know, with the people who came before us till the tech boom came in, because I came when the tech boom started here in the 19, and a lot of Indians from South Asia and Indians came. My husband came, and I was a traveling spouse with him that time. And that's how I see the demographics have changed now. In
Oh, yeah, a
2025, what I was reading it's around 60,000 population in Cupertino. 70 to 70% is Asian,
That's right.
Yeah,
and the median income is 200K.
yeah,
So wow.
yeah.
You know, what do you can you summarize a little bit about that change? Because-
Well, to give you a little bit of perspective,
yes.
when I was growing up, I cut apricots and picked prunes for my grandfather and my uncle.
Nice.
Picking prunes, it's awful work, but you got 50 cents a 40-pound box. So every time I filled up a 40-pound box, it was 50 cents. With apricots, I didn't pick those. The boys picked those. They brought them into the cutting shed, and myself and other ladies cut these 8-foot by 3-foot or 3.5-foot trays and laid the apricots one by one as we cut them. 50 cents for an 8-foot tray.
Yeah.
So, and we were cheap labor because, and my mother was even cheaper. They didn't pay her at all because it was her father's ranch. So anyway, people in agriculture, I have nothing but admiration for people in agriculture and our people, Hispanic people that work so hard,
Sure.
of supplying our food for us.
Understand.
It's amazing.
Yeah.
But yeah, there were maybe 2 or 3 people that had $200,000. I don't know.
That was millionaires at that time.
I know. So look how
It has
how
changed.
things change.
Oh, yeah.
So
Oh, yeah.
quickly.
Yeah.
Well, I'll tell you a funny story.
Yes.
It has to do with the cots. Because when I came,
Yes.
and the people that came in the 60s, I drove down, we moved here, bought a house. I drove down to downtown Cupertino, and there was this horrendous smell, a terrible smell. And I came home and I said to my husband, we bought in the wrong town. They have a sewage problem, a bad sewage problem. Well, it turned out that when you were drying the apricots, they would burn sulfur underneath those trays so that the apricots would not turn brown.
Right.
And they would keep their orange color. Well, that's what I was
Sulfur
smelling,
smell, yes.
sulfur. So here I was, indicative of a city girl coming from a city
Yes.
to the agricultural capital of Cupertino.
And you actually could tell what season of the year it was by what the canneries were processing. So it was interesting.
Yeah.
Oh, tomatoes!
So
it
lovely.
must be summer.
And now we talk about the different kind of fruit, that's apple here, and
It's funny.
But I guess that's how life.
Well, we were
evolves and
different.
changes. Absolutely.
We were different.
And it's amazing to get perspective from both of you, I have to say. And now coming to how can people join or donate?
We do fundraisers to raise money. The city also supports us, gives us donation, and people give us donations.
Okay.
Apple donates.
Apple does a
donates,
nice
some of
donation.
the other big companies donate.
Okay.
Uh-huh.
So main thing is, yes, they do get donations from some corporations and the city of Cupertino, but you can also donate and show up at this very small, compact, but beautifully done, museum with so much information of the past, I have to say. And as you can see, they're so dedicated and so passionate about telling you stories. So get your kids here, I have to say, and that's how they learn. And get them away from the screens for a moment and come and step into this beautiful museum in Cupertino, Quinlan Center. And my last question is just very personal. Why is it important to preserve history for both of you?
Okay, for me, there was an old saying that if you don't know your history, you're bound to repeat it. And you do need to know what our history was as we move forward.
Right. Some things are worth repeating, some things are not. And I read a saying recently. What was that saying?
You read it.
I read it. It was, if you don't know your past, you don't know who you are. And that, when I think of India or, China with thousands of years of history, or other countries, and America is so new, but it's important to know why there is America, what it was about, and to know the history.
Yes.
And then so many people come here and share their histories with us. It's just fascinating.
Yeah, and for me too, coming as an immigrant here and assimilating here, understanding the culture here, it wasn't easy to balance both cultures. No. Yeah. So it's very important for us as Indians or South Asians to understand our history here, US history or our local history, which is so important. And for me, I think you're so right, and both of you are right, that identity, we need to know where we come from, and we need to know the progression of mankind and society, how they change, and evolve. So
well, to me, what is so wonderful about Cupertino is that people are here from all over the world.
All over the world.
Very
all
true.
To me, this is very exciting. I learn so much.
Yes.
And of course, they are adding to the history of Cupertino and to our culture, making it richer and much better.
Yeah.
That's a wonderful way to
That's
look
how
at
I.
it.
That's how I feel.
And America's always welcomed immigrants with open arms. And to talk to both of you, it's amazing to hear the stories. There is also any other workshops that happen.
We have,
the museum.
Jay, we have this one young man.
Yes.
He's younger than we are, that's for sure. And he is a wonderful asset to the museum.
Okay.
He does these things called tavern talks.
Okay.
Yes.
And they are, specifically in a tavern all the time. They do, we were in a restaurant this past week.
Okay.
But he finds history speakers and, then invites people, and we put out a notice on our Facebook and in our newsletter.
Okay.
And so hopefully next year, I want him to put a speaker together to do De Anza, to talk about De Anza.
Very nice.
So that would, because we actually have in the South Bay Area and in other areas in the Bay Area, descendants from the original people that came up
really?
with De Anza.
Okay.
And so their stories are fascinating.
Oh, wonderful. And talking about museums, which has been one of your favorite museums you've traveled and you've been to?
Oh, worldwide?
Worldwide, oh yeah.
Oh my
wherever.
goodness.
We were talking about that too.
Yes, I think it's very funny. One of the best museums that I have ever seen was in Mexico.
Okay.
And it was in a small town. And but what was perfect was that all of the items in there were from that area. And all of the excuse me, the Aztec items, because that's from that area. And they were not things that were commercial. It was items, real things. And it made me feel I could connect with those because I could see them. And I knew where they were from. It was wonderful.
What about you?
Well, big museums are wonderful, and everybody should visit big museums, but I really like small ones.
Me too. See?
And, when I was traveling more, in California and different places, I would always try to find a small museum wherever I was. And one of the best ones that I've seen recently was in a little town in Washington State called Kashmir. And it was an amazing museum in this small town. They had a 2-story building with a huge Native American tribal exhibit. Just it was amazing. And then they actually had property. They had like about 2 or 3 acres. And on the property were original and reproduction buildings, like a town, like what the town used to be 100, 150 years ago. And it had a livery stable, and it had a saloon, and it had a general store and a school, and all these homes and everything. And it was like a town around the more
Sounds
modern.
like an interesting place.
Oh, it was wonderful, and all of the period furnishings, and they brought school children into the school, and did
They
lessons.
sat at the desk.
They sat at desks and they did their lessons. So the small town museums are just fascinating.
I can definitely understand that. So thank you so much. For me, people do go to the Smithsonian Museum, or they've, gone to the Louvre, but you can only absorb that much. That's right. Okay, I can't absorb everything. So small museums are better. Come support Cupertino Museum here at Quinlan Center. It was so wonderful to talk to you ladies. Thank you for coming on Off the Cuff.
Well,
and
thank you for doing this. We really appreciate
My
it.
pleasure.
This
Thank
is lovely.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Take care.